So here we are at the House of the Magician, East Side, at Uxmal. The story goes it was built in one night. That's the tradition, but it was built in 5 separate stages. And it's unique because of its curved kind of elliptical style, you could almost say, which I haven't seen before. It's too bad you cannot climb up to the inside chamber there. So you can see that white layer is what's been reconstructed. The stones are small. There's mortar and binding between them. This pyramid has a height of about 35 meters, about 110 feet, give or take. I can't get any closer, but you can see there appears to be a hole directly ahead. And you can see it's covered by a door or window of some sort. There. Unfortunately, we cannot get in. Here's a closer shot of that hole that goes inside. You can see there's a pillar there next to it. Kind of round pillar-shaped objects on top of the door lintel. And you can see the 2 stacked faces of Cha'ak, the rain god. So I'm not sure if you can actually walk in here, but we're gonna anyway. Yeah, okay, you can. These are all stones that are stacked from the roof, likely caved in or fell. Here we are at the back of the temple. I believe here these are the faces of Chuck. So I counted there's 6 of them. It would make sense that there was 3 more up there that are no longer there, for a total of 9. Because 9 and 13 are sacred numbers to the Maya. So it would make sense that there would be 3 more that are now broken and missing. So I just read a little guide on the ground here, and it said that this complex is dated between the 8th and 12th centuries ACE, after the Common Era. And if you look, each one of these buildings looks slightly different. For example, this one has a bunch of columns. This one has this unique roof pattern with the kind of thick, squarish columns. And that one's kind of a mix of both. It's really interesting. Oh, let's see, was I right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So actually 13 would have been the right number of the chalk faces, because 12 little ones and the big one up there is 13. So it's, if I remember correctly, it's the 13 levels needed to achieve post-death into proper afterlife heaven. There's a better preserved face of Cha'ak. We will come around to the other side to get a better view. So here we are in what is called the Quadrangle of the Nuns. That was a name given to it by a Spanish person whose name was, let me read it, Diego Lopez de Cogoludo. And he named this place. The dates range from 900 to 1000 AD for construction. So you can see some interesting carvings and statues up there. That guy has a really strange face and kind of a small humanoid body underneath. that could actually have a head attached to it as well. As we continue to come here, we see giant snakes of sorts. The many faces of Chuck. These strange and interesting square patterns, like a maze. We see the X. It's kind of interesting flower shaped designs. More badly eroded heads. There's an interesting head there. Big earrings, big ears. So there is a head underneath, on top of the body, and underneath what I thought was the head of the first statue. So here we are at another site of a ball court. You can see the ring there. That's where they would throw this solid rubber ball. And there would be a parallel ring on the other side, which is now missing. It seems as if nobody knows the actual rules, but everywhere you go, someone gives you a little bit of further info. Here, I just learned that they were protective leather clothing, which I didn't know before. Now here's something interesting. There are larger, more square and rectangular blocks here. Also from limestone, I believe. You can see they still have the original shade of red, I believe. That would make the color of the outer building. That's why there's so much red. That being said, they're casing stones. You can see the stone layer underneath is just like all kinds of shapes, rocks, all kinds of odd-shaped rocks that are just kind of glued together with mortar. But the casing stones are much nicer. So if they didn't care too much about what it looked like underneath, they would only case the outside, and they would care to make the outside look nice. So the Book style architecture is completely unique from everything that I had seen in all these different sites, from Cancun, Tulum, Belize, even Tikal in Guatemala. Lots of use of columns and square patterns and stuff. Look, you can see that kind of maze-like decoration, the letter X. I hadn't seen that stuff before. As for this, looks like there's something underneath there, and it's blocked off. Maybe it's a tunnel that goes underneath. So here it is, the complex of Uxmal. Now a lot of it is still buried and kind of hidden by the forest and jungle, but it's actually really well manicured, and they've done a really good job to expose everything. Considering that this place was abandoned 3 times in its history, they've done a really good job of restoring it. So water was a major concern here, as there's not cenotes around that provide easy access to fresh water. So that being said, they had to build cisterns to hold water for long-term use. It should explain that when it dried up, they abandoned the city and then came back and abandoned it again. So as we've learned along the course of this trip, that 9 and 13 are sacred numbers, 9 being the number post-death in the kind of subterranean world, 13 being the levels you would need to achieve to get up to heaven, we can clearly see that there's 9 steps here. Levels 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to the top. And I've counted 66 stairs, if I counted correctly, that lead up to the top. I'd be interested to know why there's 66 of them. I don't know at this moment. But at least the 9 we can see constantly. 9, 13, 9, 13. So here's an interesting shaped monolith. It's leaning off to the side, and I read from a little tablet it could represent the tree that is key to the Mayan mythology. They think it was built at the same time as this building, the governor's palace, Palacio de Gobernador. So I'm not sure if you're actually allowed to be in here, but it smells foul. That's to be expected. This is a solid room, no connections. It smells really bad. I have to get out of here.
Puerco completo, así me dice a mí. Que deje mi puerco en paz.
Pero la mejor, que la realmente que sí.
So again, here we are at the front of the temple here. Uxmal has been really great. It's particularly interesting architecture that I haven't seen anywhere else out of the 8 or 9 sites I've been to. Let's see, I've been to El Rey, Tulum, Lamanai, Tikal, Palenque, and here, Uxmal. And I have Chichen Itza left. And I have not seen architecture like this anywhere else. Really, really great place. Almost sounds like it's bouncing off the stairs. See if we can do it again. So you only hear this kind of bird-like noise if you face the structure and clap. And if you face away from it, you don't hear it anymore.